So getting into it,
random facts about things.
Tell me
you
about
never
this
wanna know.
one. Tell me about this one.
Okay. So we should talk about what those are first. That's
okay.
Yeah. You can explain it. Yeah.
Nate had never seen a Defcon badge before today.
That's right.
So I brought in my pile of Defcon badges from. I've been going since 18. I missed 1 year since then, and then I ended up helping out staffing since 22. And so all of these are old Defcon badges. So
I've heard that sometimes if you're like a goon or if you're helping out in some form that you can get like leaked early diagrams, like what are they called, like circuit maps of these badges, and people
I have never seen that. Like,
really?
I'll be honest, I've never, as a goon, I have never heard or seen anybody who got early diagrams on how this stuff works.
Jim mentioned, I don't remember the details because it was last year and it was in Vegas and everybody was drunk, but Jim mentioned that he either knew somebody or somebody told him that they got a early diagram of one of the boards, and that they found out that you could short out the board by connecting two circuits. So they had enough time to go print out something. It was like shaped like a banana, and it would connect those 2 points, those
and fry
two
the
contacts.
board?
Yeah. So they would go around handing these bananas out and being like, hey, connect this to your badge. Connect this to your badge. It's like a cool little thing.
Welcome to DEF CON.
Yeah, everybody would just fry their badges.
The thing is, like, DEF CON is, like, you have to be to some degree smart about the things you do, because you're going to get people trolling just as much as you're going to get people who are trying to help you out or something. And nobody will ever want to do. That's not true at all. I have not experienced a lot of people who are doing it maliciously, like going to attack you. I mean, there are people who do that, but a lot of people, it's for shits and giggles.
Yeah, because they're there with their buddies and they want to show off.
And so part of it is just like expect hijinks at DEF CON. And the reason is because at DEF CON, that's just what happens, is hijinks.
Yeah. Now, is it true that you should like have an RFID proof wallet and don't bring your phone and all that stuff?
I bought a burner.
Be smart. But at the same time, be smart.
How paranoid?
I'm not as paranoid as I used to be.
That surprises me.
But on the other hand, that's also because I've been around the community for longer. That's not to say that I'm like, bring your phone and leave Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all this on or something.
Right.
But at the same time, like, if you're smart about it and you know what you're doing in terms of, like, setting up your AP correctly, you're not your AP, but your connectivity, it's something that's really easily explainable is the Defcon secure network is used by the Defcon knock goons to administer the network. They will actually go out on the con floor and they will connect into the secure network in order to manage the gear that makes the Defcon network go. So if they're willing to trust their hardware and their stuff, and they're the ones running that environment, then you're probably pretty safe on that environment if you set up to be securely connected. If you're just like, well, I'm just going to connect to any AP that's named this and hit the button, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
But if you're being smart about how you're doing it, then it's a lot less dangerous.
The trouble
That's not to say don't worry about it. That's just to say, if you're smart, then you're not necessarily like, I'm not going to take my phone and connect it to my Fitbit while I'm at DEF CON. Sorry. But at the same time, But at the same time, if you play intelligently, it's not as dangerous. It's not going to be like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end like everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, I got tricked into bringing a burner. There was a guy that we work with, Jack Hooker, and he was like really big on this burner thing. He found a sale that was like it was a good price for a burner. And I was like, why not? It's like $20 or whatever. I'll buy it. But I ended up not using the burner at all, just because like it's a pain. You have to give out that number to everybody, and it's like a crappy little.
I can't necessarily
Motorola.
say I can't necessarily say that's a good thing, but fair enough.
What, bringing a burner
or not, or like it's such a pain, so I'm not going to do that. That's the downside of security a lot. Like, for instance, that would be a big problem. That's a big problem that like you face when working with pen testers.
Security and accessibility.
As an engineer working on the side of the blue team instead of the red team for a pen test department, that's a problem you have. Is a lot of pen testers want something done the easy way because it's fast and easy and simple. But when it really comes down to it, being secure and being simple and doing it the easy way are not necessarily the same thing. And so you end up having to find these ways around things, so that therefore your users are able to use the system, but at the same time you're still trying to be as secure as possible.
The thing that I found that worked for me at DEF CON, like the balance between security and usability, was just not using my phone. Like I turned my phone off and I hung out with the people that I was with, and if I got lost, I'd find somebody else to hang out with. And
we can't necessarily do that as goons, but
that's
because
a good point.
like we actually have to be connected to some degree. there's you know you have to get communications from the rest of your department, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Especially as a
come
team
here
lead,
right now.
as a team lead or a shift lead, you're going to have to do some of that level stuff. And it used to be a lot more radio. Defcon still offers ham radio and stuff like that. So there are
like
a lot of
training
people
for
who
it?
will walk around with Baofangs and ham radio and actually do that kind of thing at Defcon.
Do you do ham radio?
I do not have a license.
Okay.
That's
so
as far as I'm
technically you
saying.
cannot
I do
say
not.
yes,
I do not
yeah.
do ham radio
Okay.
because I do not have a license.
Yeah, I forgot about that with ham radio. You'd like have to.
It's
have
one
a
of those things I
license to
want to do,
operate.
but recently they dropped the need for Morse code to remember Morse code, and
Oh,
with
really?
dropping that, in order to get your basic level, not your engineer necessarily, I think, but in order to get your basic level, you don't need to know Morse code anymore. And with not needing to know Morse code, I have been intent to actually, I think this year, I'm going to try for my ham radio license.
Ham radio is one of those things that I just never really got the appeal of. Like, I know there's a ton of people in the hacker community that are like, oh yeah, it's fun. You communicate with your boys and it's like kind of underground. And
Can
I
you
just don't
explain
get
what
it.
it is for
It's-
people that may not?
Ham radio
You could
is
probably do a better job.
It's shortwave. It's a radio that is basically shortwave that people use to communicate. You know, like CBs and truckers. That's the kind of thing that you're talking about. So people who are able to talk with the people around them. It's not something that's going to be like you're not doing a broadcast at a at like the same power level or something as you do for like a commercial radio station, but it's home operators for radio. So that you're able to have communications. There's certain ways that you communicate. There's certain things you say. There's abbreviations, stuff like that that you need to know in order to communicate over ham radio. It's the consumer area of the radio spectrum.